Good afternoon and welcome to the Oregon Employment Department's listening session for Thursday, November 2nd. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lindsay Leahy and I'm the Unemployment Insurance Division Director here at the Employment Department. We'll get started in just a few minutes. All righty, looks like most everybody has joined, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, good afternoon. My name is Lindsay Leahy, and I'm the Unemployment Insurance Division Director here at the Employment Department. Today's listening session is being simultaneously interpreted in Spanish. If you'd like to view the simultaneous interpretation, please follow the instructions shown on the slide, which are: click the interpretation box in the bottom Zoom bar and then choose Spanish. The presenter's voice will be lowered while the interpreter speaks over it. You can choose to mute the presenter if you prefer. Before we get to today's topic, we want to remind you that this is a public webinar that is being recorded and will be posted online. We cannot discuss any claim or business-related issues in this forum. Do not put personal or business information in the Q&A or chat boxes. For help with a claim issue, please use our online Contact Us form at unemployment.oregon.gov or call 877-345-3484. For business issues, please send us a message at francis.oregon.gov/employer or call 503-947-1488. During the next 60 minutes, you will hear some information and background on the topic of equity and good conscience, and we want to gather your perspectives as we explore making changes to our administrative rules. Protecting the integrity of the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund continues to be a priority for the Oregon Employment Department, and we want to make sure that as we contemplate possible changes to our rules, we take into consideration all perspectives to ensure that rule changes are equitable. In 2021, the Oregon Legislature updated the law to expand the Employment Department's ability to waive overpayments if collection of those overpayments is against equity and good conscience and that were not a result of fraud. This law change applied to overpayments in effect on or after June 23rd of 2021. Additionally, the law changed the meaning of a waiver of recovery so that a waiver is an extinguishment of liability of the debtor for the amounts that were waived. Prior to this legislation, if the Employment Department granted a waiver, debt collection was waived for 6 months, and then the collection activity would resume on the debt amount, or in some cases, another 6-month waiver might have been granted. We made changes to implement and expand the expansion of waiver eligibility, and we made system changes to eliminate the debt if an overpayment waiver is granted. Now we would like to explore the standard that we use to determine if collection of a debt is against equity and good conscience. The standard that we use today has been in place since prior to the passage of the 2021 legislation. When determining if collection of an overpayment is against equity and good conscience, one of the things that we look at is to see if an individual claimant has no means to repay the overpayment and has total allowable household expenses that are equal to or exceed 90% of the total household income, less benefits from the unemployment insurance program. We use the Internal Revenue Service Collection Financial Standards to determine maximum household expenses when processing overpayment waiver requests. While we believe this standard is equitable, we know that there are other standards that we could use, and we would like to gather input from interested parties to hear if the current standard should remain in place, or if there are other standards that we should consider using to determine if collection of an overpayment is against equity and good conscience. We're now going to move on to the details about our comment and question portion of today's listening session. Again, this webinar is being recorded, and we will post it to unemployment.oregon.gov. Since the listening session is limited to 60 minutes, we ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. We may need to reduce the comment time to 2 minutes if a large number of people would like to comment. That way, we can be sure everyone has the opportunity to be heard today. If there is limited participation, we may end the webinar early if there are no more questions or comments. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Please make sure to state your full name and tell us if you are making a comment or asking a question. If you are joining us by phone, be sure to press *6 to unmute yourself when you are called on. If technical difficulties prevent you from participating today, please email your comment or question to communications@employ.oregon.gov. If you do not want to speak, but you do have a comment that you would like to share or a question that you would like answered, please put your question into the Q&A box. Our unemployment insurance listening session panelists are available to answer your questions. They are Lisa, Tim, and Sarah. Please remember, we cannot answer questions specific to your benefit claim or business in this public forum. For help with claim issues, please use our online Contact Us form at unemployment.oregon.gov or call 877-345-3484. For business issues, please send us a message at francis.oregon.gov/employer or call 503-947-1488. I look forward to hearing your comments and thank you so much for your participation today. Just a reminder, if you have a comment or you'd like to ask the question, do raise your hand and I will call on you. If you are participating by phone, hit *6 to unmute yourself. And if you do have a comment or a question and you don't want to speak, feel free to use the Q&A box that's on the bottom panel of your Zoom bar. We're going to go ahead and give it about 5 more minutes and see if anyone else, or if anyone might have a question that they'd like to ask or a comment they want to provide today. Again, if you raise your hand, I'd be happy to call on you, or you can drop your question or your comment into the Q&A box. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of our time today. This listening session was recorded and we will post it on our website at unemployment.oregon.gov. Our next listening session will take place tomorrow, Friday, November 3rd at 8 a.m. Pacific Time. For updates or to register to attend that listening session, please visit unemployment.oregon.gov. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.